Hello, hello, everybody. Good afternoon. I cannot believe that I'm doing this, that I'm doing a live. It is giving me a little bit of nostalgia of the times that I used to do lives way, way, way back when. I know I didn't have an intro, so I didn't make it nice and fancy. I realized that I could have before. I accidentally had my YouTube open at the same time as the StreamYard. So had to get out of that really quick. I'm going to wait a few more minutes to see if anybody will hop on. I'm not expecting a lot of people to hop on today, and this is not supposed to be a jab at me or anything, but I could not get Instagram to work today. I don't know if anybody else is having this issue, but anytime that I tried to post anything on Instagram for stories or any sort of announcements or putting on like countdowns or adding links, I literally could not get any of it to go through. So that was a little bizarre. I wasn't sure why that happened. So obviously, not a lot of people know that the live is happening, other than, of course, the people that happen to stumble upon it on YouTube. And if nobody can come today, that's totally okay. And honestly, this might be better for me to get some practice of doing lives more often. So I'm excited about that. Today, we are going to be doing a little bit of a November writing project. I am calling it a November writing project for obvious reasons. I guess not so obvious if you haven't watched the video that I made about it. But if you have any idea of what's going on with the usual November challenge that is out right now, there are reasons that I am just choosing to not use their title. But we are still going to try and write a novel within 1 month. We're still gonna we're still gonna do it. And I first am going to start with just 15 minutes, a 15-minute timer, just to get myself, get the ball rolling and all that sort of stuff. I want everybody to make sure before we start the stream, regardless if you're here in person or not, definitely drink water. Definitely have water with you while you are writing so that you can stay focused for longer periods of time. I also have, I don't know how many people out there are Baldur's Gate fans, but I couldn't resist. The candle looks so crazy in the camera here. It's not that big of a flame, but I did get the Baldur's Gate pale elf candle. Sorry, not camera. And I have to admit, it smells very, very good. Part of me wishes that I could share the playlists that I usually listen to with you guys, but don't want to get demonetized. Don't want to accidentally, steal somebody else's work and monetize off of it. So totally makes sense of why that is a bigger deal. All right. Well, thank you everybody for watching this video and for coming and for just writing and chatting with me a little bit. I'm going to grab the timer here really quick. It has been a very long time since I have done StreamYard, and so many things have changed about StreamYard. There we go. We definitely want to share a window and not just the entire screen. Perfect. Found us a simple 15-minute timer. We're just going to start with this for now. I feel like I like to start things off a little bit slower whenever I am doing bigger projects. I'm going to test something really quick, making sure that I did this correctly. Okay, that looks good to go. All right, 15-minute timer is starting once I can get to it. Now. All right. Well, all done with the first sprint there. So that's exciting. I have to admit that for part of my sprint, I wasn't writing, but I was doing research. My main character is a guy, and I wanted to find a name that was not, a name that wasn't too basic, but a little basic. Because I had the name Dylan for a while, and I just wasn't sold on the name Dylan. Nothing wrong with the word or name Dylan. I just wasn't feeling it for that character specifically. So I did a little research on that. Um, but I'm happy to see that some people were able to hop on and able to comment. Let's take a look. All work, no play. Yeah, you probably ended up jumping on right when I had the timer on. I also am wondering if anybody has a preference. I had my writing on the same screen as I have my camera. I don't know if that looks freaky or not. Let me know if that looks freaky, if it looks like I'm like staring into your soul as I'm writing, and if I should have it like on another screen. Because I have two screens. So I could do that. Hello, I am writing here too. Have nice writing. Thank you. I am so happy that you are also here writing as well. I am always so excited whenever I get to see fellow authors just like coming together and writing, because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, right? Something will come up. It's just a matter of settling back into the habit of writing every day. Yeah, I agree. I honestly think that something that I have had to tell myself, and this is not something that I am saying as the best piece of advice, this is just what works for me in my situation. I aim to write every day, but I don't make it a conscious, oh, I have to make sure that I write every day. I hope that makes sense. Because when I had that mindset of I have to write every day to be a good writer, I caused a lot more stress than help with my writing projects. And I ended up feeling very burnt out and not writing my projects at all for like several months. And so I just got to the point where I thought it would be a fun challenge each month to see how many days in the month I could write, with the goal, of course, it being every day. But if I wrote, let's say 20 days the month before and I wrote 25 days this month, it's a huge win for me. So it's kind of like a cool, slow but steady process to do that. Kai is a cute name, means ocean, if I'm right. I like that. I like that name. Kai is a very cute name. I love that. And I feel like it could be good for either a boy or a girl, which is always really fun to find those different types of names. I love it. For at least what I have done so far within just the 15 minutes that I have been writing, I'm having a hard time doing word count, not mainly, but partially because I actually have little bits and pieces of the story already written from eons ago. So I'm picking up a very old project that I am hoping to complete by the end of the month. And because of that, whenever you edit, I don't know exactly how to count those words with editing what I have already written down, just briefly making sure that it connects to the story, okay? Generally, with my editing projects, I do count every single word that has been combed through. But since I'm going to be also writing new words, I felt like it was a bit unfair. But I did write 50 new words in another paragraph. I will also point out, I don't ever use word count as a means of like, oh, I didn't write enough if I didn't do a certain amount of word count. But it is nice to compare and contrast from day to day. And I have different types of word count goals that I make sure are realistic. I think that a good way that I could describe it is if you feel like you could easily write 100 words a day, let's say 100 words a day is no problem, or you need at least 100 words to get yourself in the groove of things, I would probably make my goal like 150 words. Just push it just a little bit, but not too much. I used to have the writing goal of 300 words a day. And then I ended up writing more like 1,000 words each time that I wrote, which was spectacular. But then I made the mistake of moving the goal up too far. So I went from 300 words a day goal to an 1,000 word a day goal because I figured I was already hitting it. So I might as well try it out. And then I didn't write. And then I didn't write at all. So I decided to just bump it up a little bit to 500 words. So each day that I write, my goal is to write or edit. I think that's important that I also include write or edit 500 words a day. And I usually do it across a couple of projects. Not too many, but just a couple. All right. I think that we could move on to the next sprint. And now that we're kind of in the middle of it, we're in the groove, we've done a bit more of a warm up, we could do a little bit more time. Do you guys have any allotted time that you feel like gets you really in the groove and also is not too much time that makes you feel overwhelmed? I have seen a bunch of people on writing streams do like 45 minutes. I don't know if I'd be able to do 45 minutes on live. I am so impressed by people that can do just straight 45 minutes on a live. I would probably get a little bit distracted. But if that's something that you guys want to do, I'm totally willing to try it again. But I have seen a common like 20, 35 minutes. Okay, perfect. Yeah. 20 minutes is a safe bet. I like 20 minutes because I was honestly so surprised. The first timer that I put on was 15 minutes, and that 15 minutes went by way too quick, way too fast. Let's see. Nice. It looks like we do have a 20-minute timer here. So I'm going to share my screen very quickly. I appreciate your guys' patience as I am figuring out how the setup of StreamYard is situated now. Like I said, it's been 3 years since I've done lives. I'm so excited to get back into them, but it's definitely still a learning curve for sure. All right. Okay, perfect. That looks like it's good to go. We are going to do 20 minutes on the clock, and I will jump back in right after we are done with the time. And feel free to comment any sort of comments even during the stream. I probably won't read them until I am done with this sprint, but I will go through all of them for sure. All right. Good luck, everybody, with writing on this next sprint. Timer starts now. Right. Second sprint, not too bad. How did we all do? Again, I didn't do any sort of word count and I did some more research. I feel like every single time that I write or that I'm writing a portion, I always learn something new because I have to learn something new in order for it to make sense in my book. Like today, I was researching what the different parts of a bridge were called. I never had to think about that before until I was trying to set up a scene where I needed somebody to walk on, like, I guess it's technically called the guardrail, but it's not a guardrail because you're not on the road on a guardrail. I had to look that up because I had a character walking across it, had to describe it accurately. So that made for an interesting research. I one day want to compile all of the different things that I had to research for my book. I think that would be a very, very funny list. All right, let's see in this. I finally started the chapter that I was having problems with today, problems to start, and I wrote 276 words. I am writing a winter romantasy. I love it. That's a good amount of words to write within that time frame, especially if it's like within your first draft or even editing. That is a spectacular work. I am very proud of you for doing that today. I would love some suggestions on romantasies that are not mainstream. I think that I struggle a little bit with romantasies, not because I don't like love or I don't like fantasy. Those are two of my favorite genres. But I feel like I get too similar of a story each time I try and read it. So I would love to get some suggestions on any sort of books that are romantasy that have a little bit more of a unique vibe to them. I mean, I need to do the same thing with horror as well because I feel like I don't love mainstream horror, but I really love psychological thrillers and I love kind of spooky vibe stuff at the same time. Maybe I'm just too picky. I'm probably too picky, and that's totally fine. But I'm sure that there are different types of horror books that are out there that work a little bit better who don't like horror versus, people who usually don't get drawn to romantasy. I love the detail that you gave about it being a winter romantasy. I'm sure that that plays into the plot very well. So one day I'm excited to read it. It'll be spectacular. Okay, so it is 2:50 my time right now, and we've been on the stream for about 50 minutes. So I think to end this, I'll do a 10-minute one, which will be pretty short. We'll do a 10-minute one at the end here. I like to catch something that I love and start a universe. That's my vibe. My first book is The Pianist and Lost Hearts. I'm trying to launch at Portugal and Brazil. Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, my first book is The Pianist of the Lost Hearts. Is that something that is for sale right now or something that is going to be queried? Are you self-publishing, traditional publishing? I would love to know. I am wanting to be more proactive in doing specifically book reviews for indie authors because I feel like a lot of the mainstream books they have so many reviews for booktubers, right? Because that's kind of their whole thing, that's their whole vibe. That's the entire reason that they have a YouTube channel. So I almost want to save the really mainstream book stuff for them. And any sort of book reviews that I would do, I would want it to be a little bit more this is an upcoming indie author sharing the different opinions that I have of that. I don't think that I would ever do a video for a book that I dislike. Let's say that there was a indie author that wrote a book and I reviewed the book. It ended up not being my cup of tea. I probably wouldn't post the video. So any of the videos that I would do for indie authors, it would be for books that I enjoyed, if that makes sense. I want to make sure to lift people up while also understanding that everybody can have their own opinion. You can't make everybody happy kind of deal. But, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all type of understanding. All right, let's take a look at what we have got here. I feel like 5 minutes is too short. I was thinking, should I just do a 5 minute timer? But I feel like I get into the groove. It takes me 5 minutes to really get into the groove of writing in general. We can make the stream a little later. We can do it a little later. We'll do a 10. I feel like 10's the shortest I can go. 10 is the shortest that I usually go, and 35 is usually the longest that I usually go if I'm timing myself. Unless if I'm on a stream, that is. I feel like writing on a stream and writing just by yourself on your free time is totally different. Totally different vibes. I could get lost in writing for like 2 hours if I really get into the groove. But streams, a little different. Obviously, a different setup. All right, let's share my screen. I promise I will get faster at doing this one day. There we go. Okay, this is going to be the last timer of this stream. We're going to be doing 10 minutes. It'll probably go by pretty dang quickly. So hopefully we'll be able to jumpstart any sort of projects that you're having some difficulties on, with that being an extra push. And the timer starts now. All right, those were all of the streams that I was planning on doing today. I appreciate everybody that was able to come onto the live while it was happening. Totally understand for those that are watching it afterwards, not knowing if the stream was there. I am still happy that you were watching it afterwards. As far as any announcements that I have a few of them. I am going to be starting up an author newsletter. It is not going to be ready until January of 2025, but I am setting up some ways that you can sign up for the newsletter previously through my website. I will be able to get that link to you guys the next time that I do sprints. Next week, I don't have the picture ready yet, but I am going to be doing some writing sprints next Saturday at 2 p.m., I believe. Time might change. But right now, as far as I know, at 2 p.m. next Saturday, I'll be doing some writing sprints with an AuthorTube friend of mine, Autumn Ashley. She has got a spectacular channel, so you guys should definitely go check her out. I'm very excited to have her on. So we'll be doing live writing sprints, and then the following week at 2 p.m. CST, the following Saturday, so not next week, but the week after, I'm going to be doing some sprints with Lynn Jung. I'm so excited to have her on too. And I also have a small anthology that is in the works that I am crossing fingers hoping to get out to you guys by the spring of 2025. And I'm hoping that the newsletters will be able to give updates on how that project is going. It's going to be a fantasy anthology about a group of adventurers. Those are all of the main announcements that I have, other than, of course, doing some more writing sprints. I'm always looking for people to do writing sprints with me. I am not a big fan of doing writing sprints by myself. I really love being able to talk to somebody in between the breaks while I write. I feel like it's a little bit more interactive. We can riff off of each other a little bit more. It's a bit more fun for me when I have somebody to really interact with. And also, of course, interacting with you guys is tons and tons of fun. So please make sure to just go crazy inside of the chat. I love being able to talk about all sorts of different talking points during breaks. And I also am in the process of doing a lot of different video essays about different types of writing themes, different things within the WriterTube or AuthorTube realm of different questions that a lot of people have and ways that I've been able to work around them. Thank you so much again for everybody who came. It was so fun to get back into this. I was very nervous doing this video initially, but it was tons of fun and great practice for just continuing in the future. I hope you guys have a lovely weekend and a lovely Saturday. And I am so proud of you for coming and getting your writing done. So have a good rest of your day, and I will see you later. Bye, everybody.